Okay. All right, here we are for the Emerald Gaia transmission. Welcome, everybody. And the purpose of the Emerald Gaia transmissions is to generate abundance in every area of our lives. So that is an abundance of joy, an abundance of fulfillment, an abundance of loving relationships, an abundance of money, finances, so that we are fully inspired and equipped to live our fullest potential, to live our mission for the rest of this incarnation. So we, in the quantum light practice, we are very consciously choosing to unplug from what we call the 3D reality, separation consciousness, patterns of suffering, lower vibrational frequencies of pain and confusion. And we are consciously choosing to plug into unity consciousness, clarity, discernment, abundance, this experience, a sustainable experience of joy, equanimity, all these beautiful divine qualities. We are aware that we are creating our experience. We're creating our reality in the quantum light practice, okay? So the Emerald Gaia transmissions is a way to support that process, okay? So we're going to be looking at different ways that we've experienced we're going to bring into consciousness and acknowledge the ways that we choose to separate, the ways that we choose to plug into separation consciousness, because these are very deep-rooted patterns. So it takes time to unravel and to acknowledge and to integrate these different patterns that affect us and affect our ability to sustain our vibration in this heaven on earth unity consciousness frequency. So the first thing that comes up is there's this concept that's out there right now, and I've talked with people about it and I've heard people sharing about it, is this experience of spiritual bypass, okay? So this is when, you know, you're going through a process and you're going into that pain and you're acknowledging that pain and you're feeling that pain. And then somebody comes along and they're like, focus on the light, you know, focus, you know, don't focus on that, focus on the light. I don't go there because I'm in the light, okay? And so there's something there that creates an experience of feeling invalidated. Like, I'm not being heard, I'm not being acknowledged, you know, I have to feel this pain, which is true, again. So if that happens, it's just that person is showing up there to let you know that there's an attachment there. There's a resistance to letting go of that suffering, because what happens is we become addicted to these different patterns of suffering because they're very comfortable. We know them. It's like it becomes part of our identity. So we become attached, okay? So in the quantum light practice, we're not denying that darkness. We're not denying that suffering that we've experienced. All of that is very, very real. It's real. We've experienced it, but we are facing it. We face that energy as equals. We're not overwhelmed by it. We're not going to be squashed by it. We face it strong in our alignment, and we know that we are equal to it, that we can handle it, that we can stay present no matter what is occurring in the outer world, no matter what is occurring inside us. So in these Emerald Gaia transmissions, we are going to receive all the tools we need to stay present when really challenging emotions come up. We don't have to deny it. We don't have to run away from it. We face it. And from that place, that's how we bring it into consciousness. That's how we integrate. And the more we face it, the more we lean into it and allow ourselves to experience it fully, it will dissolve into this oneness, into this unity consciousness. And that's how we choose, okay? So we are facing it, and we work with archetypes of the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. These archetypes support us when it's like we go as warriors, you know, as we face these energies with courage and grace. And that's why we call forth beings of light, ascended masters who support us, who can hold space for us as we process these energies. So again, that suffering, that 3D reality, separation consciousness, it's there, it's real. But what we do is we choose to unplug, and we plug into unity consciousness. And then we are able to sustain our state of consciousness in union with our own divine self. So one of the things that we'll be working with today, a concept and activation, is awakened neutrality. So let's just take a deep breath and just kind of breathe in what was just shared there about our purpose here in the Emerald Gaia transmissions. And breathe it in. And we're just going to be open to receive what it is we need at this time in our individual process and collectively. Take deep breaths. And then bring your attention to the base of your spine, the root chakra. So the first thing that we do in the quantum light practice is make a very strong connection with Gaia, the ascended Gaia. Again, we make Gaia's functioning, the earth, as a living, breathing, evolving entity. Gaia's functioning in different dimensions. So we are consciously choosing the ascended Gaia. So then we open the root chakra, and we see a line of energy that takes us from the base of the spine, our attention to the root chakra, all the way through the layers of the earth to the crystalline core of Gaia. That is our grounding. This is our source of equanimity and stability at this time. And this connection is beyond, the safety of our home or, our bank account, our financial net, that security. This connection is there if all of that is taken away from you. And it happens. That happens in this life as a human. So this connection with the core of the earth goes beyond those things, these illusions of security. This is our primordial connection to the creative life force of the universe. So that's what we're going to focus on. That is the Emerald Gaia. And so then when we make that connection with the core of the earth, you're going to see that energy arise, this beautiful emerald, diamond light rising up from the core of the earth, lighting up all the beings of light in the inner earth. So you'll start to see like this rainbow ray lighting up. And you'll be aware of these elementals, the different, the fire, the earth, the water, those elementals, those forces are lighting up and rising up into your body and matching those forces, those elements that are in your body, raising the frequency of your physical vessel. Just allow that energy to rise up into your physical vessel. And breathe. And that energy rises up all the way to your heart. And then you open up your crown chakra to receive the cosmic light, okay? This is the galactic codes of abundance and divine support. And you see that as a column of golden light entering in through the crown of your head. And that light is absorbed by the brain, all the cells of the brain, the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, the masculine and the feminine sides of the body are being absorbed by this golden light, you know, so the brain is like a sponge receiving the golden light. And you be aware of the pituitary gland or the pineal gland in the center of the brain, the pineal gland, and you allow that gland to soften and absorb this lush, rich golden light to nourish the brain and all the thought processes of the brain. Because we are going to clear and cleanse all the neural pathways energetically from very deep-rooted patterns that no longer serve us, that we're completing. So we're just allowing this cleansing, this light to cleanse and clear so that we can receive new frequencies of light. And allow that light to enter into the throat. Entering into the throat and clearing out any cords that have to do with communication, where, you know, the times that we were really trying to express and we're not in freedom to fully express ourselves. So we're just clearing that out from the throat, entering into the heart and merging with this earth energy. And there's this fusion of spirit and matter, you know, the cosmic light and the matter of the physical vessel coming into alignment, okay, with Gaia. So that's your alignment. When I talk about alignment, that's what I'm talking about. You're aware of Gaia, you're connected to Gaia, and that energy moves through the spine and into the heart, and then the cosmic light comes in through the crown of the head into the heart. And those energies come together, they integrate and then emanate throughout your whole body and into your electromagnetic field and your environment. Okay, so you glow, you emanate with this light, with this consciousness. And when you're in this space, you are in alignment, you're in presence. This is the divine presence. You are in union with the divinity inside of you. And then from here, this is where we do our work. So, awakened neutrality. Calling forth, Mary Magdalene is coming forth. And she's going to share with us a little bit about story. Our stories. So Mary Magdalene is a being of light who was incarnate 2,000 years ago. And she's a being of light who's been slandered for 2,000 years by everyone that knew her and through the centuries. So her story does not define her. This is what she's trying to say. And we may never fully know her story. There's all different versions of her story. And so the message is that the story, it doesn't matter. She saw her beloved, his body destroyed in front of her eyes. Okay, so she has a story of suffering. And she surrendered. That the purpose of that story was to bring her into surrender to her own divinity, and to anchor herself in her divinity. And that is her power. So we all have our story. We all have our story of suffering. Everyone, even the person that you think has it so easy and it's been so easy for them, they have their story, because we don't know. We just don't know. We just are projecting onto beings outside of ourselves. Based on our own story. And so we're going to let all of that go, because you know what we're doing is we're emptying ourselves of these stories. And this is how we come into awakened neutrality. And this is how we can be present with others when they are letting go of their stories, assisting them to heal and to raise their frequency and to unplug and plug into unity consciousness, unity with your own divine self. So Mary Magdalene is ascended. She's an ascended being of light. She's a master. And she emanates that union throughout the universe. So she's saying she's always available to support each of us at any moment. So she's coming forth to be with us in this transmission, to support us, to divinely support us with love and awareness. So in the altar of your heart, allow your story. What is your story? Just allow it to come forth in your heart. So and how that original story, there's an original story that then filters through all our experiences. It's like a way that we there's like this original wound, which is really founded in the belief that we're separate from the divine. That's the original wound, that we believe that we are separate from the divine presence inside ourselves. We feel like we're alone. We feel like we're an outsider. We feel like we don't fit in. All of those kinds of things is how it shows up. But it's a very deep-rooted human experience. It's just part of being human, that we believe that we're separate. And our purpose in this incarnation is to come into union. So we can bring forth, we all have that story, and it will come up. And we're going to put it on the altar of your heart. This is a sacred container. It's safe. You're protected in this process to bring this forth. Some of these stories are about our own unworthiness, how we're not good enough, so how we didn't receive what we needed. We were victimized. Some of us were abused as children. And when that happens, when we experience that abuse as children, it creates a perception of ourselves that we then take into our adult relationships. And we make choices based on that filter of our own unworthiness. So this is one of the patterns that we're going to allow to come forth, to dissolve in the fire of transformation. We all have our story. In my incarnation, in my ancestry, I'll just give an example. My family had to flee a communist dictatorship, and they were political refugees in the United States. They had nothing. They had to leave everything. They left it all for freedom. And they had to start with nothing. They had to just start over. And when I was a child, I was bullied for being Hispanic in the community that I was in. And I went through that all through my school years, all those like really sensitive years, in puberty. And so it created a feeling that I'm unworthy, that I'm not good enough, that I'm wrong, that I'm different. Okay. And so then that filtered into choices. I believed it. That was my part. I believed that I was unworthy, that I didn't deserve anything. And that I wasn't good enough. And it was very, very painful. It affected me my whole life. It affected my choices of partners, my choices in business, because I was coming from a place that I didn't deserve anything, that I was unworthy. Okay. So that's how these things kind of snowball into our present time experience. These experiences from the past, if they are not fully processed, if they're not fully acknowledged, they will vibrate inside of us and attract experiences that are not preferred, that experiences, and then we'll be confused, like, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep choosing people that aren't respectful of me, or who don't value me? Why does this happen? Well, because these energies are vibrating inside of us. We didn't have the tools to process. And so now they're coming up for us to acknowledge, to explore, to transform. And then for me, I had to let it go. I had to choose. No, I am no longer going to perceive myself that way. I am a divine being of light. And I forgive everyone that was involved in the whole situation, because everyone was coming from their wounds and their abuse. And so that's when we're really in freedom, when we can see the wounding of the person that has persecuted us. That's when we're in our mastery, and we can let it go, we can forgive. And then receive this. It's a mystical healing. It does not come from the mind. It doesn't come from saying, okay, I'm going to forgive these people that did this to me. It doesn't come that way. It comes through surrender, surrendering to this divine presence, surrendering to the awareness that I am a divine being of light. Surrender. And allowing this mystical healing to occur. And then we offer that wound, we offer that suffering to the divine. I am completing this pattern of suffering. I have learned everything I need to know about it. I'm going to now choose union. I am choosing support. So that's what we're going to do right now. So take a deep breath. And you can see yourself as a child, or you can see yourself and trust the image that comes forth in your mind. You will see an image, or you'll feel a feeling, okay? And it's great. Even if it's uncomfortable, wonderful. It's coming up for healing. We're offering it to the divine. And now we're going to call forth this emerald ray, the emerald Gaia. And just allow that emerald green, this vibration of love, this vibration of nourishment and support to completely enfold us. And then Mary Magdalene's coming forth, in the cosmic light, the galactic codes, and just allow yourself to receive this light language transmission and visualize the emerald green. Take a deep breath, breathe out, let go. Another deep breath into the heart. Let go. Offering gratitude to the story, because that story brought you to surrender. That story brought you to awareness of the divine presence inside of you. So thanking the story. Thank you so much for teaching me in this life how to experience union, how to recognize union. Thank you. So offering gratitude. And the Akashic records are opening. And this amazing, powerful goddess Seshat is coming forth, and she is a divine scribe, the keeper of the Akasha. So these are all the records of human experience throughout time and space. And again, we are offering this experience, whatever it is your story is, if you are choosing to let go of it. And again, it's your choice. You can allow it to be included into the Akasha. With love. And there may be a little resistance. And then you think, why would I want to hold on to this story? Well, it's because it's a big part of our identity. It's a big part of our perception of ourselves. That unworthiness, it's very, very comforting. And it can give us this experience of righteous rage, justice, revenge, or, a lot of projections. They don't know how hard I've had it. They don't understand me. So those kinds of things. So are you ready to let go of it? Are we ready to let go? And maybe you let go of just a little bit, because it's gradual. It's something that it's your choice. Always, it's your choice. Or you can choose, I am finished. I am completing this pattern in all its forms. I'm completing all these forms, whether they're conscious or unconscious, where they come from past incarnations, from collective consciousness, all of it. I'm letting it go. I don't need to figure it out. I've been experiencing this for decades, okay? I know it so well. I'm allowing it to go. I'm allowing myself to let go with love. Opening the heart, sukuaha. They say the heart cracks so that the light can enter, okay? This is the heartbreak that leads to surrender, that leads to ecstasy, which leads to union with your own divine self. So skurshuna ha'ana ini chinakinichi, this is Seshat. So no ha'ana in chinakananan seke shikadai. So no ha'ana chinakis, no ha'ana chinakis kushua. So skurshuna ha'ana chikisono suruku ha'nai. Haini in chinakisana in chikisano sunuwa ha'ana in chikisano kusuranai. the 0-point field. Okay, so when you go build a house and there's a forest there, you clear the field to create a foundation. So we're clearing the field of our inner quantum light, of the inner presence. We're clearing the field. We're emptying. We're going to show up empty so that we can be filled with the inner divinity, so that we can be filled with light, so that we can hold the light in a challenging time on our planet. We can hold the light. We can be present. But we are in the dimension of unity consciousness. It's like you're a lighthouse, emanating light, walking around in the street, emanating light, emanating consciousness. That is the most powerful service that you can offer at this time, is to hold space for transformation in your alignment, emanating light, emanating alignment. And there's a ripple effect into the environment around you. There's a ripple effect. People feel it. And you can hold space for them. You can hold space for people who are in their story, for people who believe their story that they're unworthy. It's an inner process. It will not come from somebody in the outer world deciding that you're worthy and making a law that everyone's worthy now. It comes from inside. It's an inner experience of sovereignty, of union, of equality, facing this pain as an equal. It will not overwhelm you. Seeing everyone as divine, facing each other, divine to divine, peer to peer, light being to light being. We are all created with the same vibration of divinity. Knowing who you are, that you're a being of light incarnate, incarnated for this mission to hold space for the divine transformation. Claiming your place as an ascended master. Mary Magdalene's coming forth. And she's doing a like unplugging any kind of entities or cords or implants that you may have that, again, they just serve to plug you into lower frequencies. And so if you choose, she is offering a clearing with, so visualize ruby red, the ruby fire moving through your system. So you can see it rising up from the earth into the root chakra, this ruby fire moving through the root chakra. Okay, the first vibration is this fear of death. Okay, fear of losing your physical vessel. And she assures us in this moment, it's like taking off a coat and you move into another dimension. It's very simple. You are eternal, you are immortal. Your consciousness, you leave this body and you stay in what you take with you is your consciousness, your state. So you want to be as clear, have as much clarity as possible, and that clarity comes through alignment. If you have your clarity and your alignment, it's okay if it's time to let go of your physical vessel. So there's nothing to be afraid of. So allow that ruby fire to move into your root chakra. Fear of how other people think of you. That's the next one. And I mean, Mary Magdalene is a master at this. It does not matter what anybody thinks of you or how anybody else perceives you. You are a divine being of light incarnate. You are worthy of love and abundance and joy. You are worthy. And it's not taking away from one of the ways that we stay stuck in this place of unworthiness is that we don't want to leave other people behind, you know, or it feels like we don't care about other people. We're afraid, you know, if I'm happy, it means like I'm not aware of other people's suffering. And that's not what it means. It means that you're in service to maintain, sustain a very high frequency of light in the midst of suffering. Shuaha, like that's your job. Sukuaha, anaishinikishina kurwa. So skura sunoaha, anaishinikishina korahi, chikisuna kusrwa. So waha anaishinikishina kursrwa, hanai chikisuna kurwa. That's the highest service, is to emanate source. And in that way you uplift others. So this is a paradigm shift, okay? The highest service, serving others, is to maintain your high frequency, to stay in clarity, to stay in peace, to stay in joy, to stabilize in that frequency. Because if you're up and down, you know, like you're getting triggered and then you're depressed and then you're not able to support anyone. And in fact, you can affect other people's vibration in a negative way as well. So we want to maintain this high frequency. And how do we do it? By facing our emotions, by facing and being with those emotions, integrating those emotions, those challenging emotions, learning how to feel them so that they can move through us. So be aware of your alignment, the root chakra, connected to Emerald Gaia, the core of Gaia, and the cosmic light, these light codes coming forth of sovereignty. Sovereignty. Shukuro honoai ichikiso kushua hanai. Soskurushno hanai, soskurushno kushua. And just breathe it in. We're recalibrating our system, and just allow that ruby fire to continue to move through your system like a whirlpool, moving through your spine. And the story then becomes, all these things happened so that I could choose to surrender to my own divinity, so that I could experience bliss, so that I could be strong, so that I can sustain that vision for others. How amazing that I experienced all of these things so that I could recognize the light inside of me and share that with others in a way that's effective, in a way that transforms, in a way that deepens love. Love. The highest frequency of light is love. So just allow a blessing to just receive this infusion of love from the Galactic Magdalenes, this lineage of light beings. So every time there's an experience of suffering, every time that story makes an appearance, because there's different layers of the story. So every time it comes up, we offer it to the fire. Be aware, you connect with your heart, offer it to the fire. Bring in that ruby fire. Bring in the Galactic Magdalenes. The Magdalenes are very, very present on the planet at this time for this purpose. So Soroa hanai. Hanai chikinichina kora hei chike suko soroa. Hasanai shanake sunoko. So just receiving that infusion of love, divine love, into the heart. Sonohanai chikinichinakorai chiki sunoku surohanai sonoanai. Suskurushinoa. Take a deep breath and let go. One more time, a deep breath into the heart and let go. And then we're going to see this a sphere of light pulsating above the crown of the head. And you see that sphere of light just raising in frequency with your own creative life force. It's pulsating, it's expanding, and then you allow that sphere to enter in through the crown of the head and to be absorbed by every cell of your body. Just seeping into every nook and cranny in the inner quantum field, you know, where any energy was released, any patterns were released. This golden light is filling up those places, filling up those spaces with light. Sealing in these new frequencies of light, sealing out patterns that no longer serve us, that we've released. Coming back into alignment with our own divine self in the present moment. Wonderful. And then receiving an infusion of Emerald Gaia. So you allow this the crystalline core of the earth, the energy that is emanating from that place to rise up into your body. This emerald green. And again, sealing out the frequencies that no longer serve you and sealing in new energy streams that are nourishing and supportive of you in this now moment. You are liberated from your story and ready to receive the new paradigm, the new earth, heaven on earth. Huskurashinaha anai chinikini chiniki chikorahi chikisana kosura. Soskurashinaha anai chinikini chinikore ni chiki chikora hei chikisana nunua. Hana I chika esa kesanogononua na I chikisakurai hei chikine chikesako. Sana I ne chikine sinakora hei ne chike chikora. And the more that we come into this alignment inside of us, the more we can express who we are as divine beings of light. We're calling forth the perfect environment, the most conducive environment that supports us for the rest of this incarnation. We're calling forth the most aligned vibrational matches of friends, opportunities, work, fulfillment, calling forth this new vibration to be reflected in the outer world. So we'll be looking for that. That reflection of the inner divinity of union in the outer world. We start to create that. When we're having that inner experience, we create that in the outer world. So we just happen to be in the right place, the right time. We experience synchronicity. We experience magic. So we are open to receive. We're open to experience magic in our daily lives. We're open to experience multidimensional communication, that we're in communication with our divine self 24/7. There's no separation. We are choosing free will, choosing support, choosing liberation. Choosing sovereignty. So you can actually visualize unplugging and then plugging in. We choose the dimension that we plug into. And we make the intention. I'm plugging into unity consciousness. I'm letting go of that, the story, the suffering. Comes up, oh, there it is. Hello, story. I'm going to plug into unity consciousness now. Thank you. And that's about as devastating as it becomes. Like, hey, story, I'm going to focus on unity consciousness. So it is no longer charged. The more we do this work, there's no charge there anymore. We can pause and then choose. So what we want to experience. We no longer believe in it. It's no longer our identity. Our identity is union with the divine. And we all equally have access to that experience if we choose it. So a final blessing as this transmission comes to a completion, just allow yourself to receive the golden light. Okay, just one more message is coming forth. That's important. Okay, so we choose the dimension that we play in. Okay, so if you're experiencing some kind of control, like what's happening in some places in the outer world, restrictions, feeling forced to make certain decisions, those types of things. So the moment that you choose to face that energy inside of you, okay, so it can be oppression, it can be restrictions, it can be feeling like you're being controlled, those kinds of things. You say, okay, I'm seeing this in my outer world, this kind of oppression out in the world, this division. And then you turn it inside. And you look inside yourself. Where am I feeling that restriction? Where am I feeling that control? And that's how we work it. We use those experiences in the outer world because they're triggering those emotions and patterns inside of us. So we use this as an opportunity. It becomes an opportunity because it's unearthing. It's like bringing to the surface very deep-rooted patterns of oppression. Okay. So we process internally first. we deal with those feelings, we face those feelings. And it will, something may come up, a wound from childhood, there's a lot of ancestral wounds and past life incarnations coming up to be acknowledged, to be integrated. So we do the inner work first. And you will see that what happens, you know, your experience in daily life, your experience in the outer world, you start to feel more space. You're no longer plugging into those patterns, into those constructs, because that control, it's something that we plug into because we start resisting it, we start fighting it. So we plug into it. That's how we plug into it unconsciously, because we're fighting it. Okay. So again, we start to feel that come up. We turn our attention to the inner world. We do our processes, and we're going to learn more about how to do that every week. And we process internally. And then from that place, we start to experience this reflection of freedom. We are no longer like drawn to those types of experiences. We no longer even are affected by it, okay? Because freedom is an inner state, ultimately. That's why you see, like, in, you know, we've seen people, you know, who are very ascetic, you know, living in a cave or in prison, and they are in freedom. You know that they're in bliss because they have completely cultivated this divine union. That's their reality. So this is a choice that we make in our daily life, in every moment, to focus on the inner union, no matter what's occurring in the outer world. And then again, we're contributing to liberation in this way of the collective. So we're no longer giving it power. We're in freedom. So then you'll start to have experiences where, you know, like nobody's asking you, oh, did you have the vaccine? Did you not have it? Like, you just don't even have that anymore. Like nobody, like you're just not in that vibration. You're not in that dimension, right? And you're in your freedom, and you choose what you choose. What's right for you, you choose. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or believes. You choose what's right for you. It's your choice. So that's a final message from the Magdalenes. Freedom is an inner state. That's what we're learning. All right. Align with the divinity that is you. Beautiful. How's everybody feeling? Yay! Awakened neutrality, freedom. So does anybody have, I know that like we're going to experiment, because I know like after the transmission, we can continue to want to kind of marinate in the frequencies. And so, but if you have a question, you know, we can, if something came up that you would like to ask about. You can unmute and ask the question. Okay, Roxanne, thank you. Immense gratitude, appreciation, and heaps of love. Heaps of love to everyone. Hi, Roxanne. Hi. Everyone good? Wonderful. No words. So, so we'll be doing this every week, June and July. And so I'm looking forward to having some very deep experiences of liberation and freedom and joy. And I'm so honored to share this with you. So thank you so much for being here and for joining the Emerald Gaia transmissions. And you can always, you know, if you want to share something on the Emerald Gaia page, that would be great. If you want to share your experience. And this transmission will be posted on the page as well, so you can listen to the replay. So it's good to listen to it a couple of times because you'll become aware of different things each time. So.
Right, I've unmuted Anna. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sheila.
I'd like to see some of your art. Is that when you put something on your site or that to advertise? Is that your art?
Yes, everything I do on there I've created. Yes.
That's lovely. Go. That's lovely. That's what I wanted to know. I thought it might be.
Yeah, you know, I'm doing a lot of different things, and you know, and on the website I'm creating some new courses. Some of you are in the illumination codes, some of you are in the Mount Shasta transmissions. So there's different courses that you can take that give you access to the weekly group. So, and then also there's private session packages. So on my website, Quantum Light Practice, you guys can check it out to see if there's something, if you'd like to do a private session or continue on in one of the courses and go deeper. In August, there's going to also be some new offerings. So you know, stay tuned. So yeah,
thank you. That's lovely.
You know, with this Saturday group, we're just wanting to create some community and support, you know, so that you never feel alone. You know, you have a place to come and receive nourishment.
Lovely. That's very nice.
I'm so glad you were able to make it, Sheila. I'm so glad you were able to make it today.
Yes. It's funny that, isn't it? I hadn't thought of it from that aspect. There you go. So spirits. Righty-ho. Thank you very much. That's lovely.
Okay. Well, everybody have a wonderful day. And again, remember, you can contact me on Messenger, or you can contact me at anna@quantumlightpractice.com. You can check out the website, and I'll see you next week. Bye.